So like I mentioned before, we'll have a Q&A, but I'm going to hand down the mic, and if everyone can say their name and introduce their film.
I'm Daniel Perret, and I'm the Director of Admissions.
Hi, I'm Amy Lobert, and my film was Human.
Hi, I'm Evan Nguyen, and my film was Living in Freedom.
I'm Justin Wellington, and my film was Island of Misfit Boys.
My name is Fabricio, and my film is Can I Ask You a Question?
My name is Nolan Fitzmaurice, and my film is called Oracle.
My name is Sienna DeMuro, and I'm the director of Miracle Baby.
My name is Brittany Schatz, and my film was Full Circle.
My name's Sienna Platt, and my film was Perfect Imperfection.
My name is Winter Smiley, and my film was Motherlands.
My name is Rachel Lee, and my film was David and Goliath.
My name is Reagan York, and my film was Life Rolls On.
So I'm just going to jumpstart our conversation with a question, but if you have one, we'll get to you. So can any of you share what inspired you to make your film, or when was the moment when you first realized you knew what your subject or your topic would be?
I'm 17, so right now I'm going through the college admissions process, and a big inspiration for me was all of my friends and those around me, and seeing them as they went through this process, and all of us simultaneously understanding the struggle of it and the stresses of it. And so I wanted to portray that and get it across to people that while it may just be, it is a normal thing, it doesn't have to be the process that it is.
What inspired me to make my film, I think, was the fact that equality has not been achieved for the minorities today in America and other countries. And so I still want to fight for that. And big inspirations for me were fellow friends who have experienced homophobia and just minority groups that have received so much hate. And I want to be able to change that.
Near the end of my junior year, I went up to my grandparents' house and actually talked to them for once. And so I found out they had a really great story to tell, and so I want to share that through film.
So for me, scouting has been a big part of my life since I was probably 10 or 11, and also since I'm 17, I'll be aging out of it once I turn 18, so I've got a year left, and so it was kind of like an homage to my experiences in scouting.
Well, what can I say? My life is, I guess, interesting. I don't think it is interesting, but people wanted to hear about it, so I was like, okay, I'll tell you. Here's my movie. Well, I don't know. My inspiration is mostly my movings. Since I was little, I had to move to different places, so I didn't really know what life would be in these different places. But my life just, it's I don't know what to say. It's just really interesting to people. But my life.
What really inspired me for my film was really just seeing that gaming, people are making a living off of it, and it's kind of like a whole new world, and it's starting to become an actual sport. As sad as that sounds, I'm sorry. It's turning into a college sport. It's really just growing and growing by day, and so I wanted to actually I knew someone, Zach, who was the star of my documentary, and he's just a really awesome guy. He's been involved in competitive gaming for a very long time. He's also just a huge retro gamer, and it was just awesome to see his story and really just see someone take competitive gaming to a new level. And yeah, people are doing it all the time, and I wanted people to see that it's an actual thing. So yeah.
The reason that I did my film was because being adopted is something that is part of me, and many people don't know because they say that I look like my dad, which is really strange that I do. But I also wanted to do it because I really wanted to thank both of my parents for leaving an entire life. My mom stopped her last semester of getting her master's degree in education, I think it was, in New York. So they left an entire life back in New York City to just come and get a baby from Mexico that they had no idea how, the baby looked, or if it was a girl or a boy. And I just wanted to thank them for doing so much for me that is just unbelievable. Their love and the love that I've received from my family. And I'm proud to say that they are my parents and that they are my family too. So.
Well, my inspiration came from actually, I was stressed one day, and I was in the car with my mom, and I didn't know what to make my film about, and I was talking to her about it, and she couldn't come up with any ideas. So I look in the back seat, and I see that she has her trauma intervention program, like all of her stuff back there, and I was like, you know, those people helped us when I was 9 years old, and she still has all this stuff, she's still part of it, and I was like, if it had this big of an impact on us, 8 years later, I mean, it's a big thing, and I feel like it deserves more recognition than it gets. So I wanted to make a film about it to get the word out there about TIP and what it can do.
So I was going to do mine on adoption, but she kind of already took that one. So I did it with my journey with anorexia because I know a lot of people struggle with that, and it's not really a talked about subject. It's kind of taboo. So I decided to break the ice and do that.
Well, my inspiration came from the women in my family that basically raised me, and I wanted to make like a love letter to them and just say thank you so much for like doing all that you do. Sorry, I'm getting emotional, but just I wanted to make a film that just said thank you for all the sacrifices that you make, and yeah, and that's it.
For my film, I actually didn't have a set idea or a clear picture in mind, but I was just looking around in my community after numerous failed attempts at trying to find a good idea. And I was always surrounded by the Korean community, and I decided on doing this donut shop because they just made such a big impact on our community, and I feel like they should have a little more recognition, especially in this San Diego Asian Film Festival, which is such a great platform. So,
for my film, I think Danny himself inspired me. I mean, I've known the family for so long, and they're such a great family. And his story is not only inspiring, but I feel like it could help others with the same situation. Seeing how he's succeeded at such an early age already, despite what he's gone through and the struggles he's faced.
So we have someone, I think we have time at least for a couple questions. Someone got a question for one of the filmmakers up here? Back there?
How many hours of footage did you have before you edited all together? For me at least, I had 3 separate interviews that I did, each one that ran probably 40 to 50 minutes. And from there, I cut that down significantly for the 5-minute short. And on top of that, I had several hours of B-roll of just anything that I thought might have been relevant to the topic. And from there, it was just a process of deciding what would best portray the feelings and tone of the film.
Can I just say, this is really hard work. Like, it was really hard. Blood, sweat, and tears. You can't really see it, but it was at least like 2 hours of footage, I think. We cut down to like 4 minutes. Where'd all that footage go? I still don't know. I really don't know, Frank. Where?
To add on to that, yeah, that's really true. Because some of our films were actually like really short, from like 3 to 5 minutes, were like kind of the shorter films. My director's cut was like 12 minutes, and I'd use there was like about 5 or so hours of B-roll, and then I used a 12-minute interview. So it's kind of hard to just go off of that interview and really just pick what B-roll is relevant to what they're talking about, especially when you have so much B-roll. And yeah, B-roll is like a really cool, I don't know, it's a cool word, so yeah.
Well, I'm gonna add on to that because I had a lot of footage that I had to cut. The beginning of my documentary was gonna be like 13 minutes, and then I had to cut it down to 7, then from 7 to 3, then the 3 to 4, and almost 5. And I had like almost, I'm gonna say like an hour of an interview, different people, and it is hard to go and just pick the right one because it's always has to go with the flow, and then you think, you know, that might go, but that doesn't go, then you have to redo it all over again. So it's a whole process, but it was cool.
Yeah, also adding on to that, it is really hard because I actually had interviewed 4 different people, but just for time's sake and for relevant to the point I was trying to get across, I had to cut out 2 interviews completely. So it is hard to manage what you're trying to say with who's saying it and keeping, like you said, the flow going.
So I had 4 hours and 43 minutes of footage to cut. I counted so I could accurately complain to all my friends. In addition, I also used past footage, which my mom had 16 SD cards full of them, and that was a big pain to go through. So yeah.
For me, it was kind of the same as you guys are saying. It's experimenting and seeing what fits where, like putting together puzzle pieces. And with my interviews, it was kind of hard to choose because everyone had such great answers. So I just kind of piecing them together and seeing what fit best.
I also wanted to add real fast that, Fabricio, Sienna, and Sienna, they use, like Sienna said, all archival footage for a lot of them. Home videos for family, so, if your family here, you guys contributed to the film. Fabricio used a lot of photographs from, Facebook. So it's interesting, not only did they have interviews, but going through hundreds and hundreds of photographs and home videos, they all added, and they all individually edited it in completely different ways. So that was really cool to see.
Yeah, in the underscoring of the film, in mine, I didn't use a whole lot because I wanted the dialogue in the interviews to take the forefront. But in my intro and outro, it is rather difficult to select an underscoring that can accurately reflect the tone of the film. And for me at least, I know some people actually had their own scoring done, which I think is wonderful. It's a matter of sitting through each track, placing it up against the film, finding out what works, where to bring it in, where to fade it out. And I'm not sure I could accurately give the amounts of time that I spent because it's kind of weaved in through the whole process. And a matter of really just, I couldn't put a science to it other than just feeling it out and doing what you feel might be best.
I think we're going to try and wrap things up, but I was wondering, Winter, can you give us a little bit of enlightenment on your soundtrack experience with your film?
Yeah, well, I think it was really difficult because obviously, like what Daniel was saying, you have to match it up with what's going on in the story and help and basically use music as a way of telling your story. But I was really lucky because I had my mom make the soundtrack and she basically did all the work on that, and I was like very, very grateful that it definitely helped carry the tone of what I was trying to go for, and my dad helped record it, so shout out to my parents over there. Thank you. But yeah, I think that was a challenge definitely in making your own music because I couldn't find anything that really matched what I was trying to say, so yeah.
Thank you. So we'll also be having a reception up on the top floor. So if everyone can join us, you could bring your questions. We'll have copies of the DVD on sale, and all the students will be up there signing them. So yeah, please join us in celebration of their screening today.
And I also wanted to give a big thank you to all the friends and family who came out. We all have our students here. The screening sold out. And I know just by working with them all through the summer, they had so much support through their friends, the family. So thank you to everyone coming here supporting this program. It's all collectively a great experience. So thank you to you too. All right, we'll see you outside for the reception. Thank you so much.
So if you like that screening, make sure you come find me. My name is Riz. We need you in our class if you want to experiment with this program. We're going to go ahead and have the class introduce themselves and their film.
I'm Winter Smiley, and that was Motherland's my movie. I'm Amy, and my film was Human.
My name's Nolan. My film didn't play, but my film's called Oracle.
I'm Reagan York, and my film was Life Rolls On.
My name is Rachel Lee, and my film was David and Goliath.
My name is Daniel Poirier, I'm the Director of Admissions.
And I'm Sandy Demur, and I'm the director of Miracle Baby.
So we'd like to open up questions out to the audience. Do we have someone that has a question for one of our directors up here?
I have a question as to what the inspiration for David and Goliath was, how that idea came up.
originally for this program, we're supposed to think of our own ideas, and I know a lot of people had what they wanted to do in mind from the beginning, but for me, it took me like half the summer, and finding inspiration for this film really just came from my community, and I tried looking for other ideas at first, but they all didn't work out, and I guess the things that come to you naturally are the best ideas and the things that work best. This just came to me from my community, and I didn't even try looking for it. It was just there, so I took good use of that and made this film.
Okay, go ahead.
How long did you guys take to make each of your films?
It took us the whole summer. Well, for me, it took me the whole summer because the program started in June. Yeah, and then it ended around August. So from that time frame, that kind of was how long. So.
Yeah, I'd say the whole summer pretty much, but for actually filming, maybe like 4 weeks and getting hours of footage, it was crazy.
What was the question? How long it was? Okay. So I had filmed like a 12-minute interview, and that was like the only interview in the film. And then I went to 2 different locations over the summer, and like one in like the beginning of the summer, and then one in like the end of the summer. And then I had filmed like 2 to 3 hours of B-roll at like each location. So it really did take up most of my summer, and it also was just like a lot of planning out and just seeing how I'd be able to fit it into like a 5-minute span. So.
Yeah, to add on to that, the brainstorming, the filming, and the editing all took all summer. I would say that was probably the hardest part, cutting down the footage, as you were saying. Just because we got so many interviews and B-roll, it's hard to choose what fit where.
Definitely the editing process probably took the longest. You have to like make sure your B-roll fits in with your interviews, and you have to make sure everything is edited properly. So for that portion of the program, I guess, took the longest.
Yeah, the actual shooting itself, like working with the camera, I spent probably only 2 or 3 weeks on it. The rest of the process was spent planning out interviews, deciding my topic, and editing and post-production.
Yeah, I think it took the entire summer and even after, just like a couple of weeks, like before school started. But, editing was the hardest too and the longest process.
So a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, but also during the summer, I think it made for a really fun program. So I know everybody here has a story to tell, but if you want to come and share it, please join the Real Voices team. Do we have another question? Right here?
Yeah, what's your advice to teens like us who wanted to make films in the future?
My advice to you is just start filming now, write all your ideas down, because then you'll like eventually forget them. And you won't remember where it came from, so just write every single detail about it and just go for it. Put it on YouTube, and it may not reach the audience you want it to, but it will eventually reach it in the future, because you never know. That's where celebrities start.
I'd say just go for it. Like don't think about, oh, I don't have the equipment or I don't have the skill or the experience. If you've got a phone in your pocket that has a camera in it, you can make a film. So in reality, if you want to just stop and make something, there's nothing to stop you from doing it.
Definitely don't be hesitant on trying new things and anything that you're interested in. Especially like myself, I didn't have any background in film. I just tried this program out because I was interested, and it definitely opened my eyes. So don't be afraid to try anything you're interested in.
Yeah, just experiment with it. Take videos of anything and everything around you, and you never know which ideas will form from them. It's kind of how all our films came, just from experimenting with ideas.
I really think that you should just take into consideration that there's so like many stories to tell around you, and also going off like the equipment aspect. Like we used mainly like Rebel T3I's Canons, and they're like pretty good cameras. And really, you don't need one of those. I mean, like Casey Neistat, like one of the biggest YouTubers, like filmed like a show like off his flip phone. It's really not that hard. I mean, equipment is one thing, but like telling a story is like a totally different thing that really is like the key to making your film.
I'd say that if you want film as a career and want to continue to make films, you need to get out of your comfort zone and start to make connections, because the film industry is really popular. So like, yeah, just start producing your work now so you build up a portfolio so you can continue that.
Yeah, going off of what you guys said, I think there are a lot of stories out there that aren't told in mainstream film, and I think that if you really are interested in film, like, you don't even need to ask for permission, you just have to make it, and yeah.
Okay, cool. Can we take one more question from the audience?
Do you guys all plan to go to, so let's say, college or have like a future in film or whatever in that industry?
I don't really think I'm gonna go to film school or anything. I think if I'm interested in film, I'll probably just start making movies still, but yeah, so.
I want to make an action movie, so I feel like I'm still gonna have film as part of my life, but maybe it's like a hobby, and I'd want to like design my own clothes. So that'd be cool. Yeah.
For I guess film school, I don't know. I've heard like so many mixed things about it. Like, you don't need to go to film school in order to become like a great director. And I've heard some things saying like, oh, it's vital to go to film school and become like, get out of there like as a great director. But I personally, I think USC sounds like a really cool choice, just because it's so many people like George Lucas who like came out of USC. It's just a really cool environment. So that's one thing I'm looking into. But overall, like, if you really want to just become a great director, just know that film school isn't like the only option. You still have like plenty of opportunities.
Yeah, this program really helped me decide that I was interested in film. And for me, there's so many different aspects in film that I just like discovering which one I want to focus on.
I'm actually not gonna go to film school, but yeah, being in this program really helped me to open my eyes into like what different kinds of arts are out there in the world, because I am actually planning on going to an art school or university, so being in this program really helped me.
I directed admissions, so you guys know how I feel about college and whatnot. But despite that, I still do plan to go on and at least try to go to film school and hone the skills and whatnot. And before this program, I was on the fence about it, but after participating in it and being part of all of this, I've pretty much decided that's what I want to do with my life.
I'm not quite sure if I want to go to film school because I'm more interested in photography, black and white, like all that. So this is new to me. But if that doesn't work out, I would have that as a hobby. Something that I really want to do is work for National Geographic or even apply for Disney. I don't know, but just something. And if that doesn't work out, I would probably become my own manager, I would start my own business, basically, so I don't know, yeah.
If you have any more questions, we'll be out in the lobby. We have a booth. We could answer your questions. You could ask them questions about their films. Thank you again so much for coming, and let's give them another round.